Hi there. Yes, welcome to the stream. Tonight we're looking at Steve McQueen and Sharon Tate and Jay Sebring, Hollywood icons whose glamorous image hid a much riskier private world. In the late 60s, swinging in drugs could end careers, so scandals were buried by Hollywood fixers. But it was a dangerous lifestyle, and things could spiral out of control. This stream isn't about judging or blaming the victims, it's about exposing the secrecy, the cover ups, and the risky choices that shape tragedies we're still trying to make sense of today. Because yes, we talk about these sorts of things a lot, and it's not about blaming the victims or anything like that. I just want to say that right off the bat. But yeah, and like I say, this all started when I was looking for stuff about Cary Grant, which led me to Warren Beatty's biography. Then I decided to look at Steve McQueen's, and there's a few claims in there that I was quite surprised about. And these books have been out for ages, one since 1989 and one since 2009. And people just haven't looked for stuff about the Manson case in these books, obviously. But yeah, we'll get to it in a minute. Yeah. Yeah, it is interesting, yeah. Because it's been played down very much, as you'll see how close Steve McQueen was to Sharon Tate and Jay Sebring. They were big friends. Just realised I haven't got the candle on. Wait a sec. I can get it to work. There you go. Right. Yeah, so hello everyone. How are you all? Just give people a minute to arrive because this is on a different day to normal. Obviously, I'm doing it on Saturday night instead. Because, yeah, like 1 week of the year, I have to actually get up early, so I've got to sort out my sleep pattern. So I need Sunday night off, doing it tonight instead. So hopefully people have found it. Don't know if Annie's here yet. Are you in the chat there, Annie? I've sent her the link. Annie's a mod now, but she wasn't expecting it tonight. Yeah, even though everyone was invited to it tonight. If you're in the Facebook group, yeah, people should know. But yeah, I'll get into the presentation pretty quickly. So we've got something to discuss. Right, so Steve McQueen, the king of cool, entangled in the Tate LaBianca murders. Doesn't he look like Han Solo in that picture? But I swear that's Steve McQueen in the film called the Rivers. Is that, or the Reavers? 1969 as well. Tonight we're looking at the darker side of Steve McQueen, not just the movie legend, but the man whose closest friends were Jay Sebring and Sharon Tate. McQueen wasn't just on the edge of the story; he was inside the circle. And some of the claims from these biographies and the Manson File are shocking. McQueen and Jay, brothers in arms. Steve and Jay were inseparable, scrappy, self-made outsiders who loved cars, women, and trouble. McQueen sent friends to Sebring's salon, helping him build a star client list. McQueen and Sebring were almost like brothers, both self-made, both scrappy, and both obsessed with cars and women. Steve not only had Jay cut his hair, he sent his friends there too, helping Sebring land clients like Sinatra, Paul Newman, and George Peppard. Their bond was deep, and that matters for everything that follows. And yeah, actually, really hard to find photos of them together. See in the top corner there's actually Jay Sebring cutting Jackie Cooper's hair, and that's often mislabeled as Steve McQueen. That isn't Steve McQueen, but there is actually one of him cutting Steve McQueen's hair that's there. And then there's these two other pictures in the lower corners there. Those are the only two other pictures I can find of Jay Sebring, which is quite strange, but we talk about that later. But since they're supposed to have been so close. And also, yeah, that's interesting. So he was the one that first started sending the other Hollywood stars to Jay Sebring. So he helped Sebring get into Hollywood. The threesome rumours. Party after party, people noticed the same thing. Steve, Sharon, and Jay disappearing into back bedrooms. McQueen privately admitted he was terrified reporters would uncover it. The Manson File backs this up, saying Steve and Jay were accustomed to sharing Sharon. There's long been a rumour that the baby was Jay's. Before reading this, I'd never heard the most explosive rumour at all, that Sharon's unborn child might not only have been Roman Polanski's or Jay's, but McQueen's as well. Whether true or not, the fact that McQueen believed it and feared it being exposed shows just how entangled he really was. Because yes, the 2009 biography really says that he was really paranoid about people finding this out, that he was potentially the baby's father as well. And he was worried reporters would find it out because at lots of parties they were seen disappearing into bedrooms together. So yeah, that's it. Oh, he looks like your older brother, does he? Oh, your older brother's lucky then. That's it. Yeah, and he's a mod now. Look, everyone. Way. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, we get to that in a minute. Hello, Jay. I'll have a haircut and an out to Coke, please. Yeah. Yeah. Supplier and cleanup crew. Sebring wasn't just Steve's barber, he was also his drug supplier, with mob connected cocaine. After the murders, McQueen panicked. He sent two friends to Sebring's house with instructions to clean it out before police got there. They did, but cops still found cocaine in Jay's Porsche and marijuana, hashish, and MDA in the house. That ties McQueen directly into the drug scene that may have been at the heart of the Cielo murders. Just to make that clear, they're saying they found the drugs at Cielo, but Jay's house was cleaned out. But yeah, this is the first place I've seen actually McQueen named as the person that sent people around to clean up Jay's house. And that is Jay Sebring's house, by the way. Sorry, I forgot to label the picture. Should be pretty obvious. But yeah, this is the first place I've seen actually name McQueen as that. And yeah, this is another book that names Jay Sebring as a cocaine supplier. The cat's making an appearance there. And yeah, it was a nightmare, basically, for Steve McQueen. And he was worried, yeah, that the relationship between them would get exposed and it would be publicity he didn't need. Anyway, I think on the next slide we get into that. And yeah, when I write the Substack article, I'll give you the full quotes of these things, from these biographies, and they're all on archive.org. And I'll make sure it's in the description, the sources, if you're watching this on playback. Anyway, I'll get on with the next slide. McQueen's paranoia. One friend said McQueen admitted he feared Sharon's baby might be his. That's a bombshell, and maybe explains his fear. And just 2 nights after the murders, he got a call. A man's voice said, "You're next," and hung up. From then on, McQueen slept with a gun under his pillow, beefed up security at home, and carried a weapon everywhere. He truly believed he was on Manson's hit list. And the crazy thing is, I don't think they ever really actually did find a hit list. What this all comes from stuff that Susan said in her jailhouse confession, and Virginia Graham to Virginia Graham, and she admitted later that she sexed up what Susan said. She made stuff up to make it sound more interesting. So, who knows who Susan really said was on their list? But they didn't actually find a list. And in a lot of these celebrity biographies, you hear people saying that there was a hit list, and there's this guy Steve Brandt. That's another rabbit hole as well. I've got to talk about him. You know, Michael Caine's biography. If you're a long time viewer, you watch my Mama Cass stream, the first one. Steve Brandt was Michael Caine's friend who committed suicide because he thought he was on the hit list. But he was actually a gossip columnist, and yeah, he's connected to all this as well. I'll have to do a stream about him. Yeah, going off on a tangent now. Yeah, well, it's possible he was just a connection, yeah, because drug dealers wanted to get to Hollywood people, didn't they? So yeah, I think Tex as well, because there's all these theories that Tex was a big drug dealer that was trying to overthrow other drug dealers. But to me, he sounds like a drug user that just hung around dealers and helped dealers to get free drugs. You know what I mean? He just liked free drugs. I don't think he was a major dealer either. But yeah, it's the same with Jay Sebring. He could have just been, a middleman to get to the people in Hollywood. But he was apparently delivering the cocaine with when he did haircuts, when he gave people haircuts, wasn't he? I didn't read that in the biographies I was reading, because yeah, obviously it talked a lot about the days of the murders. But yeah, you hear this about, and also on the subject of a male voice ringing him up and saying you're next. That could have been anyone though, couldn't it? It could have been, because also like actors are so like crazy and jealous of each other, aren't they? I wouldn't put it past another actor to do something like that, just to send McQueen paranoid so he wouldn't get so many jobs or whatever. They're like messed up, aren't they? But who else could have done it? The Canadians. Did he know something about the Canadians? And because yeah, I've got to read again the list of people that were at the Doyle incident. Was McQueen there when this happened to Billy Doyle? So could it have been the Canadians ringing him up? Who knows who it really was? Yay! Our underground is here. You made it. Yeah, it's a strange day as well. So well done for finding it. And Glasgow Dave is here, talking about Iron Brew. Do the Americans even know what that is? Yeah. Right, I'll move on to the next slide anyway. Right, this Hawaii vacation and the Judy Garland fire. Right, McQueen, his wife Neil, Jay Sebring, and Sharon Tate vacationed together in Diamond Head, Hawaii in April 1965. Next door, Judy Garland had rented a cottage. On April 15th, around 3:40 in the afternoon, the house caught fire. McQueen and Jay rushed in to help, throwing what they thought was water onto the flames, but it was vodka. The fire whooshed higher, and newspapers reported the blaze was caused by faulty wiring, with the fire department arriving at 3:59 and the flames out by 4:08. Damage was estimated at nearly $4,000, and Judy's daughter Lorna was even photographed sweeping up debris outside. It's not just an anecdote, it's documented, and it shows just how close McQueen, Sebring, and Tate were, vacationing together and literally sharing the crisis. Because, yeah, it's mentioned in the one of the biographies that Steve McQueen was paranoid about people finding out that he'd gone on this Hawaii trip. And when I looked into it, you can find this thing about Judy Garland having a fire, and that was way back in 1965. So I don't know why he was worried about people finding that out, but I suppose it just shows how close he was. And it shows that they were long-term friends as well, so it wasn't just like a one-night stand. They had all known each other a very long time. And if it was like a Hollywood swinging scene, they knew each other very well. And yeah, this isn't actually the cottage, but this is pictures of the area, basically. So that is Diamond Head Road. That's what an idea of what the cottages look like and the coastline. Yeah, and if you just search Judy Garland Hawaii fire, you find all these newspaper articles about it happening. Yeah, she lost a jade ring and stuff like that. Claim for uh, on the insurance. One of the things she claimed for was a jade ring that she lost in the fire. Yes, that's in the biographies. He was actually one of the people that was really invited up there, but he was meant to. He met up with a chickie, is what it says in the books, and got distracted, so didn't go. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, he's like one that was really genuine. And I've also heard like people say, discussing recently in the group, they heard a rumor that an actor was there. Someone like Steve McQueen was actually there and hid in a closet or something. So could Steve McQueen have actually been there and managed to hide? I doubt that. Yeah. Yeah, but like I say, it doesn't say all this in the biography, but I was able to dig this out about when, and it's obviously there's no photos of this trip as well. No photos of Sharon and Jay and Steve McQueen together. A couple of slides back, you see that photo of her and Roman and Steve McQueen together. There's a few photos in that set of her standing with Steve McQueen, and there's a few with Roman in as well, but no pictures of them all together. And again, probably because of his paranoia, he you know, wanted it hidden. And Sebring's funeral, yeah. At Jay's funeral, the tension snapped. An unknown mourner leapt onto the coffin, sobbing and chanting. Chanting words no one could understand. McQueen and others shot to their feet with guns drawn. One version has Steve pointing his pistol directly at the man's head until security dragged him away in the middle of a funeral. Packed with Hollywood stars, it looked like a scene from a western, with several people standing up with guns. But it was all too real. That's how paranoid and armed Hollywood had become. Yeah, I noted as well in the picture where he's carrying Jay's coffin, he's wearing a denim jacket and jeans, and then later you see him wearing a suit. The pictures later he has a suit on, and so I looked into that as well and found another interesting thing here. But yeah, that's the next slide. We'll talk about this first though. But yeah, that sounds crazy because the first biography suggests that it was just Steve McQueen that stood up with a gun. But the other biography suggests loads of people actually stood up with guns. It wasn't just Steve McQueen. This guy freaked out lots of people. So who knows what to believe in that situation? But yeah, yeah. Well, I'm going to cover that. Will it Cary Grant? Yeah, I'm going to be covering that next week. I finally get around to that because I was just looking for stuff about that, and that's how I stumbled across all this. I had to report this first, but yeah, I'm going to do Cary Grant next week. Yeah. Oh, and that's another thing. I found a picture of Rudy's dog, Christopher, the one that Garrettson talked about. Christopher, the dog that barked. Maybe I'll show you that later after the slideshow. Should better get it up for you. But that's interesting. Yeah, there's other YouTube channels doing loads of stuff about the Manson case. He's done a really good video that I've shared in the Facebook group about Sharon Tate and Roman Polanski's marriage, where he reads out of chaos. You know, just how bad. I mean, we all have talked about that extensively here, haven't we? How bad it all was. But yeah, so like more and more and more people are questioning this case, and it's good to see other channels that make long form videos and get more views than me actually talking about this stuff as well. But he's done a video about Jim Morrison and the Manson case, but it's over an hour long. I haven't had time to watch it, but he's probably covered that already. But yes, Jim Morrison is connected to it. I was trying to find some evidence, more evidence than, because I think just one of the band members says in his biography that Jim Morrison knew Manson. But yeah, I was looking for more evidence before I said anything. But yeah, he was interviewed, apparently. Yeah. And I read in Warren Beatty's biography that Jim Morrison and Janis Joplin used to hang around Cielo Drive. So, like, yeah. I'm not sure. I didn't get all the pallbearers' names, but yeah, this photo is pretty easy to find. If you just search Jay Sebring's funeral, Steve McQueen, it does give everyone's names. Sorry, yeah, I should have got that, shouldn't I? The names of everyone in the pictures. I think you can see Warren Beatty in the other photo as well, the lower one where he's wearing the suit. Yeah, and this is interesting as well, because I just looked into it. It's interesting. In one, he's wearing denim, and the other, he's wearing a suit. If you look at this, he was at Bruce Lee's funeral as well, and that's him bending over to adjust the coffin there. And he's wearing denim at Bruce Lee's funeral as well. And at Sebring's funeral, McQueen was photographed carrying the coffin in jeans, boots, and his denim jacket. Later, he appeared in a full suit beside James Garner. Some say he changed between the private pallbearer duty and the public service, practical but also symbolic. He did the same at Bruce Lee's funeral, denim for the coffin and suit for the ceremony. McQueen was famously uncomfortable in suits unless absolutely required. For him, denim was armor, authenticity, and suits were for the cameras. It was his way of showing, I'm real for my friends and polished for the public. So yeah, he did the same thing at Bruce Lee's funeral. I just found that interesting. But yeah, I suppose he's being more authentic. Like he knows his friend would have wanted him to come, how he felt comfortable to the private ceremony. And he only put on the suit for the part where the press would be photographing them. So it makes sense. And it was just him, yeah, trying to be subversive because he was rebellious as well, wasn't he? But he put on a suit for the cameras at the end. Yeah. Was he? Yeah. He was buried at the highest point of Seattle. Yeah. Yeah, well, like I say, this other guy, Dan S is the name of his channel, and he's done a video about Jim Morrison and the Manson case. Yeah, so I've got to look at what he's found there. And yeah, I have heard before he was interviewed, and it says in Warren Beatty's biography he hung around at Cielo while Melcher was there and Candice Bergen and that. So, and the Daisy, he was another one associated with the Daisy, and they all hung out there as well. It's all very connected. So yeah, I can believe Jim Morrison at least knew something or heard something. And he had a phase. They all seemed to go through a phase of looking like Manson, didn't they? They all grew their hair long and grew beards at the end of the 60s. It's really weird. Everyone, Neil Young, Dennis Hopper, they all went through a looking like Charles Manson phase. Really weird. Right. What's the rest of the... Yes, this is just a weird point. One of the strangest mysteries is the missing photos. McQueen and Sebring were close friends, always in the Hollywood spotlight. Yet no verified pictures of them together have ever surfaced. Or not very many of them. There's like 3 or 4 I could find there. Like I say, I showed them on the first page. For two men photographed constantly, that absence feels almost deliberate. After the murders, McQueen's paranoia spiked. He slept with a loaded gun under his pillow and avoided predictable routines, lived like a marked man. But what was he really afraid of? Not just the killers. The biography suggests his deepest fear was that the world would discover Sharon Tate's baby might have been his. That possibility haunted him, and may explain why he never stopped looking over his shoulder. Because yes, before I knew anything about the Manson case or anything, I just heard McQueen was a paranoid man, and he always seemed very anxious, and I just assumed it was because he did cocaine or something like that. But no, this does explain it. And Peter Sellers as well was close to Sharon Tate. There's photos of Peter Sellers with Sharon Tate. and he was notoriously very mentally ill. But he was just a horrible man as well. Oh, I should do a stream talking about Peter Sellers, just how horrible he was. He was horrible to all his wives and his kids. Just an awful bloke. So I don't have any sympathy for him if it did mess him up because he was horrible anyway. Harsh to say, I know. But yes, that's like the other thing. And this has been out in a book since 2009, and more people don't talk about this, though. These are like unofficial biographies. You've got to take everything with a pinch of salt. But yeah, it's claimed he was worried the baby might have been his. And that was another thing he was paranoid about. And obviously being on the hit list, and he reckoned he did get a threatening phone call. But that could have been anyone, couldn't it? Is there another slide? I think there is. Right, Steve McQueen wasn't just the king of cool, brushing against the edge of this story. He was tangled up in it through drugs, sex, and paranoia. He ordered evidence destroyed, carried guns everywhere, and believed Sharon's baby might be his. He truly thought he was on Manson's hit list. The public saw the cool rebel who always walked away, but behind the scenes, McQueen was right in the middle. And it leaves us with one chilling question. Did Steve McQueen know more about why these murders happened than he ever dared admit? Yes, and the sources are Steve McQueen, King of Cool, Tales of a Lurid Life, another hot, startling, unauthorized celebrity biography by Darwin Porter. And that's from 2009. And this is the one that claims that he thought the baby might be his. And that is on archive.org. And so is Steve McQueen, The Untold Story of a Bad Boy in Hollywood by Panina Spiegel. I think that's how you pronounce that name. And that is from 1986. And so as early as that, that's when they were claiming that McQueen was the one who did the cleanup or ordered the cleanup of Jay's house. And we've just missed it. We all just missed it. So yeah, I think that is basically all the slides. So we can just do some discussion now. Yeah, but like I say, I was quite shocked when I read that. Yeah, that Steve McQueen suspected he was the baby's father. Yeah, Peter Sellers was awful, horrible to his kids and all his wives. Yeah, he is a good actor. He was in Sundance Kid. What's it called? Is it just called Billy the Kid? The film? No, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid and Billy the Kid are two different films, aren't they? Wasn't he in both? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Of course, yeah. Peter Sellers was in Doctor Strangelove, wasn't he? And everyone goes on about the Pink Panther films as well. He was really funny in there, and he was a good comedian. But that's not enough to forgive him the way he treated people, is it? Because Spike Milligan was also really mentally ill, but he wasn't as horrible to his family, and he wasn't as horrible to people than as Peter Sellers was. You know, though Spike Milligan had his downsides as well. You know what I mean? He wasn't as nasty as Peter Sellers. It was his personality. But obviously, yeah, the proximity to the Manson murders probably upset him and messed him up more, didn't it? At the end of the '60s, another reason why he was so paranoid. And like I say, in Steve McQueen, I always heard he was very paranoid and didn't know why until I got into reading about all these capers, that you go into. It's because he didn't want people finding out about this, apparently. Yeah. Yeah, he was. Yeah, Peter Sellers was. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Ah, right. So that isn't Steve McQueen. That's Redford, is it? Yeah, yeah. And Paul Newman. Yeah, Paul Newman kind of looks like Steve McQueen, doesn't he? I get them fucking mixed up. And oh, he's the other one. Henry Fonda. I get him mixed up with someone else as well. Yeah. I'm not good at the knowing who these fucking people are. Peter Fonda and Dennis Hopper, I get mixed up as well. Yeah, yeah. So I'm more familiar with Dennis Hopper now, obviously having studied him, because that's crazy as well. I have done a stream about that. I think he was getting ready to play Manson in a film that never got made because it was too close to the crimes, basically. Yeah, maybe in a decade it could have got made, but it didn't at the time. Yeah, we had to study that when I did film studies. The Lady Killers, yeah, the evening comedies. Yeah, he was a great actor. Yeah. Yeah. Oh God, was he gang raped at a juvenile facility? Yeah, that's pretty. So he had that in common with Charles Manson as well, didn't he? God. Yeah, that's the other thing it says. Like him and that's why him and Jay Sebring were close because they both came from rough backgrounds, and so I think Sebring was in the Navy for a while, wasn't he? He joined the Navy. But yeah, and they both loved cars. There's like if you look up Steve McQueen and Sebring, there's this whole thing about the Sebring race that Steve McQueen did. He was into car racing, and there's a racetrack called Sebring, isn't there? Yeah. But yeah, he did this long race, a race that goes on for fucking a day or something like that, 24 hours or something ridiculous like that, isn't it? Yeah. Sorry, just looking at the chat. Yeah. Let's see if I can find the picture of Rudy's dog for you. Yeah, that's quite a find. But Christopher, he's talking about the dog Christopher barking, isn't he? The dog that goes out and barks. Oh, we managed to find one picture of a cat at Cielo Drive as well. But yeah, not many pictures with cats. That's another thing I'm interested in. If anyone can find them. Where's he gone? There it is. Look, that's Christopher. Rudy Outerbuddy's dog, apparently. I'll edit that out. But yes, he's the dog that barked, and possibly the dog Susan talks in her grand jury testimony. She says at one point she looked out the window and saw a dog. Wonder if that was Christopher. Yeah, and look at the rest of these photos of the house as well. These were taken in October of '69. Yeah, that's Candice Bergen's lights. Yeah, if you look closely at this one, you can see people inside the house, and some people say it actually looks like Terry Melcher, but yeah, unable to confirm whether it really is him or not. But yeah, look closer at this photo. One of the guy's haircuts looks like it could be. Yeah, I love the orange glow of the light. Yeah, but this is like October '69, as I say, French magazine. Nice photos, all up in the Facebook group. Yeah, I don't know if that's the same table even where they sat and had lunch. I don't think he threw out much of the furniture, did he? He just kept it all, just left everything like it was. Yeah. Yeah, I know it's crazy. Well, I've done the Olivia Hussey stream where she talks about it, and she says she didn't feel any bad vibe. Everyone was fine, and they had a button that connected them. She said the Bel Air Police, but she probably meant the Bel Air Patrol, the security company. But they had a panic button in the house, didn't they? Installed. So I think the security just got mega beefed up. That's why they weren't scared. But yeah, I think it sounds weird how they're all saying, "Oh no, none of us are scared." It's almost like delusional, isn't it? It is really weird. Yeah, it is a shame it got knocked down, but it was starting to look tatty already, wasn't it? I don't think it was meant to stand for that long, really. It's just horrible what they've built now, isn't it? You just thought they could have built something a bit more sympathetic to what it was originally, wouldn't you? Terrible. Yeah, I found these, like I say, well, Delinda had shared one of them, and I found the rest of the set. Yeah, it's from this French magazine, apparently. Yeah, like I said, they're really nice pictures. So go back to the one that shows the view. Where is it? There. It's nice, isn't it? And like I said, they're from a magazine. That's why they're not very clear. Unfortunately, they're a bit grainy. Yeah, yeah, it is. What they've built, the current house is just ridiculous, isn't it? Yeah. I've seen a few people have been sharing videos of the gate, people that have been there recently, and yeah, showing what the new gate looks like. It's further down than the original gate was, where the 1969 gate would have been. Hmm. Yeah, well, um, people say they did meet, but it's just really, really hard to verify claims, and everyone says, "Oh, bullshit," don't they? People don't want to believe that he actually did meet all these people, but people are naive, aren't they? And there's obviously been a lot of like legacy management, as they say, going on. Where they've played down how much Manson was connected to all these people because they don't want it to tarnish their image and stop people buying their music. I don't think they need to worry so much though. I think the people that were going to buy their music would still buy it even if they did hear they knew Manson. They don't care. He didn't. I don't think he moved back in, but he went up there while Olivia Hussey was living there and had an affair with Olivia Hussey. He visited there a lot still, yeah, because he went up there because Olivia Hussey says in her biography that he had a relationship with her while she was up there. Yeah, I don't know about that. I haven't looked. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I imagine it is now. I imagine it's much more security, isn't it? Yeah, 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 yeah. That is Christopher. Yeah, like I say, this is from a magazine shoot. I don't know if all those photos are from the same shoot. I know all the ones with the orange glow because they've become known as the orange glow photos. But yeah, like I say, I'll post all of them and probably include them in Substack posts and all that now. And yeah, I'll give you more information about the magazine they came from and all that. But yeah, this is while Rudy was living there. He let them in to photograph the house, obviously. Yeah. Well, yeah. Did they show you their version of Romeo and Juliet to get you to watch Romeo and Juliet? Yeah. I've never watched it actually. I should find it. I'm sure it's nice. Yeah, it was a beautiful house, wasn't it? It looked picturesque. It was designed to, wasn't it? Yeah. And the history of it as well, because the Manson murders wasn't all that happened there. A lot of other people had owned it, hadn't they, and lived there. But it did get a seedy reputation after the 60s, didn't it? Yeah, look, this is the one where people speculate it might be Melcher sat in their living room, but you can't really verify it. And it doesn't say in the magazine that Melcher was there. Yeah, but that's like that's the porch, isn't it? Yeah, and the window next to the porch. And that's a nice one as well. So yeah, the glow of the bulbs gives it a sort of orange glow. Sort of around Halloween time, isn't it? Well, October. Halloween's right at the end, isn't it? So yeah, I'm surprised. Not surprised there weren't Halloween decorations out. Yeah, yeah, yeah. She's found a lot. These are from a group called Lost Angeles. There's a Facebook group called Lost Angeles, and a guy had shared this set of pictures. Yeah, and I found out about them. Yeah, keep thinking it's Tuesday. Oh god, yeah, the summer holiday's messing you up. And it's a bank holiday weekend as well, isn't it? Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, she's in that as well, isn't she? Olivia Hussey. Yeah, she did a few films, didn't she? Crazy life she had though, yeah, but she seemed to cope with it. I think they probably gave her loads of sedatives though, that's why she coped with everything so well that happened to her. Medicated through it. Yeah, it is weird how they all didn't seem to be at all bothered and just stayed at the house. And she also got violently raped there by that Christopher Jones. And when I did the Olivia Hussey stream, I didn't know Christopher Jones had also had an affair with Sharon Tate while she was making 13 Chairs. And that's the guy that later raped Olivia Hussey in what was the bedroom that Abigail and Wojtek were staying in, I think. It's absolutely crazy, this story. And she still continued to stay at the house and said there was no weird vibe and she wasn't bothered. And she stayed there for months after that. And Rudy Altabelli had custody of her, yeah, because she was so young. It's crazy, yeah, yeah. Yeah. Well, no one really knows, do they? But the Sam report suggests that people were there far later than the official narrative says. Because yeah, the official narrative tells us people left at 1 o'clock and then no one else was there till the maid finds the bodies. But there were plenty of sound reports that suggested otherwise, weren't there? Yeah, we don't really know who. Yeah, we get all the scooters here. Yeah, there's a big mod festival on the Isle of Wight every year. So loads of scooters show up, and a lot of it happens in Ryde. They don't camp in Ryde anymore now. They camp in Sandown somewhere, I think, don't they? But yeah, there's a lot of entertainment for them in rides, so they all ride past. Yeah, and the big ride out is tomorrow, I think, isn't it? But it's really big this year. It's the biggest ever, apparently. Yeah, thousands and thousands of scooters. Interesting to see them. Yeah, yeah, it is. And like I say, we're just talking about now how people just carried on living there and acted like, it was all cool. So I put it down to drugs. They just had loads of Valium or whatever to get them through it. Yeah, 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 yeah. No, no, it really wasn't that. It really wasn't that. It's a weird thing, yeah. Because so I don't clash with Brian Davis. It's because wouldn't he go on at a completely different time to me though? I'm quite early for Americans, aren't I? He would go on later than me, surely. But no, it's because I've got to get my sleep pattern in order. 'Cause, this is like the 1 week of the year that I have to get up early. So yeah, I just need to. Yeah. You're not talking about Garrettson, are you? The guy from the guest house. He didn't end up on the streets. No, he went off and got married, didn't he? He went back to wherever he came from and got married. Yeah, and he was all right. He got interviewed years later, didn't he? He wasn't all right. He didn't end up on the streets. Do you mean Garrettson? Yeah. When you say the tenant guy. No. Yeah. Well, went on for 6 hours. Bloody hell. Yeah, I did see when he was live, but it was too late for me. Like I say, it's in the really early hours of the morning. Yeah, that's it. Hmm. Well, I've gone through all the slides now. I might make this a short one and start the after show. Because, like I say, I need to get an early night tonight. But I go out all the information, and like I say, in the Substack article, I'll give you the full quotes if you want to read the full quote, so you can just find the books on archive.org. The titles are on the screen back there a bit, and I'll make sure it's in the description if you're watching on playback. And yeah, look, and I'm going to start putting the Substack articles in pinned comments underneath videos. So all the ones I've written Substacks for are now going to appear in pinned comments underneath the video. If you want to read more from the Substack articles, yeah, and please subscribe to the Substack if you haven't already, because yeah, I put more into the Substack articles than I can generally fit into streams. Mm. Yeah, and like I say, I didn't know that at the time I did the Sharon Tate and Olivia Hussey stream. So I'll have to add that when I write the Substack article for it. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, they're always discovering dinosaurs. Every time there's a landslip, the cliffs fall down, new dinosaurs appear. Yeah, we've got loads of fossils here, and we're connected to the. At one point, we break off from France, so there's like dinosaurs associated with France and shit like that, and stones. Weird. Yeah. 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 No, I don't think he married her. That Rosie Tate. I don't think he married her. No, he just met her and was it? Yeah, spoke to her. He didn't marry her. No. No, no. No, he just met her. And I think he just said that to make himself look crazy so people would leave him alone because he was sick of people trying to find him. Because a guy from Manson blog found him at the same time that he did the Brian Davis interview. So I think he just did that so people would leave him alone. Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. Well, he didn't look after her very well, did he? Because Christopher Jones raped her while he was in the house. And he let Christopher Jones stay in the guest house, knowing he'd already beaten Olivia Hussey and was crazy. But he snuck into the house and raped her all night apparently and beat her. And when she finally walked into the living room, her face was so swollen he started weeping when Rudy Outbody saw her. Is what it says in her biography. Disturbing. So yeah, he wasn't looking after her very well. Hmm. And they did get engaged, did they? Yeah. Brilliant. I did hear she actually did get to speak to Roman Polanski as well. I don't know about that. I don't know if that was just like via email or letters or whatever. Yeah, but that'd be insane. Hmm. Yeah, that's it. Well, she could, yeah, probably tell more, couldn't she? And about these anecdotes about text turning up there while they lived there to get money for Greg Jacobson. Because all this makes him look far more linked to the Golden Penetrators and all that than they've ever let on, haven't they? They want everyone to just concentrate on Charlie and his connections, but really, yeah, Tex is the more interesting one. What the hell was he doing there? Like I say, I have trouble believing he was some huge drug dealer that was trying to take over Hollywood or whatever, but I can see he obviously liked drugs. He had a drug abuse problem, they should say, in modern times, basically. And so he probably liked hanging around dealers so he could get free drugs. I think that was what was going on. And that's why he, dated women that were selling drugs and all that sort of thing because he just liked free drugs. And he probably was a middleman because you get some drugs when you go and supply drugs for everyone else, don't they? You know what I mean? It was that sort of a situation rather than him actually being a violent dealer that was trying to overthrow people. Like I say, I believe that the motive for Cielo Drive was to do with a drug burn that went wrong, and he was just acting on behalf of Linda, basically, when he acted at Cielo Drive. That's my theory. Sorry, just get the chat. What was people saying? Does anyone ask her? Yeah, well, this is the thing. Candice Bergen, has anyone ever asked her? I don't know, you see. She's made some comments, hasn't she? But yeah, people generally don't, do they? And also, celebrities, bloody, before you can interview them, they know what all the questions are and they will just refuse to answer certain things, won't they? Maybe now they're seeing it's of interest, people will really. Because Michelle Phillips has been stayed silent as well, hasn't she? And denied stuff that Dennis Hopper said that she said. And then she's saying, oh no, I never said all that. Dennis Hopper's just crazy. But yeah, Michelle Phillips could tell us more, couldn't she? Who knows if she will though? Because nowadays people can see how it was for these women. Like the people won't judge them so harshly. It wasn't their fault. Michelle Phillips was really young when she started to go out with John Phillips, wasn't she? And she was groomed to act like that. Everyone was sleeping around. So it's not the same as well today. No one slut shames, do they? It's not it's fucking the whole societal standard has completely changed. I think they should speak out about what they know and what they saw. But will they? Yeah, I think that Linda and the girls were controlling Tex and telling him what to do rather than the other way around. The way he talks about it in his psychiatry report, he makes it sound like that. Definitely. But yeah, I think he was so messed up, he didn't really know what the fuck was going on. They were telling him where to go and what to do. And later on, they structured this. They created this whole narrative. I mean, I don't even believe that they parked down the road and climbed over the fence now and everything. I think they probably drove right in there and drove out again. With this, everything's a lie about what we've been told. Yeah, well, this other guy's video, he read out part of Chaos that I had forgotten about. It's been years since I read Chaos, but he talks about Sharon Tate and Roman Polanski's relationship in it, and says about how people were saying they were trying to urge Sharon to leave Roman, and there was episodes of violence because in that Warren Beatty stream, I said there's no evidence that he was violent to her, but there are. In Chaos, he says that it says that he slammed her face into a mirror. And there was a time when he asked her to put on a dress that another woman he'd slept with had worn. And when she came back without, in her own dress, without the dress he'd asked her to put on, he threw her in a swimming pool in front of all their friends, which is, just obviously to humiliate her. And that's just horrible, isn't it? So that's abuse as well. So Roman was violent to her. And Joanna Pettit was saying, yeah, she wanted him to leave him. And said that Sharon was different when he was around. She was quiet and scared and all this sort of thing. She wasn't herself. She wasn't her light, jubilant self. He made her miserable. Just feels so bad for her. Just wish she had left him sooner. Then she wouldn't have been at that house, would she? It's so sad. It really is. And the truth needs to come out for her sake as well, to expose how badly she was treated and the dangerous situation she was put in by all these blokes who were around her, who shouldn't have been having all this stuff going on at her house. She should have been protected from it, but no one cared, did they? I think people were naive at this point. It was from the Manson murders that they learned not to mess with these sort of people, in it. Yeah, yeah. Well, like I say, I'll end this now and go to an after show. So it's been going for 40 minutes. And yeah, thank you for coming. And like I say, check out all the social media. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already as well. And obviously like the video. And yeah, the Facebook group is really, really active. But yeah, the subreddit, not so many people using it at the moment. But most of my audience came from Facebook originally. So I've got to try and convince my Facebook users that Reddit's worth using as well if they don't have Reddit accounts. But it is, it's really good. It's better for if you want to research stuff. And it's not social media like all the other social media sites. You don't use a picture of your own face. It's just an avatar and use an anonymous name. And you're just about discussing it. We've got a subreddit. There's a half decent Charles Manson subreddit on there where there's people talking as well. So yeah. Just if you go to the main channel page in the about, you see all the links to our social media. Come and join the family. Talk to us all and people. Yeah, Delindra hasn't been here tonight actually, but yeah, she's been sharing loads in the group. She shared loads of great pictures and all sorts of stuff. So yeah, come and join us all. Right, I'll end for a minute and then I'll come back and do an after show. But yeah, thanks for coming, everyone. And I'll see you next week. We'll be back to the normal time next week. Like I said, it's just this one weird week of the year when I actually have to wake up. Right. See you in a bit.